So our producer has selected a bunch. This time, again, as we said, instead of relationships, it is going to be related to people you know. It could be friends, it could be acquaintances, whatever.
Yeah, so it's not just partners, it's about just
people.
maybe office workers, maybe co-workers, maybe
people.
friends.
People
just
in
people.
general.
Thank you very much, Joey. Yes. Just people.
Just people.
They're not just people.
I mean, actually, you know what? Can we just get an example one? Can we just, we just throw one out
Let's
there?
just throw one out
just so
right
I can get
now.
a vibe set.
Yeah. So, a co-worker... Shut the fuck up.
We all co-walk.
A co-worker can't pronounce words properly. A co-worker frequently avoids serious conversations.
Ooh. Well, we're the co-worker.
Yeah, we're
are
co-workers.
Yeah, but we're friends.
Yes.
For life.
For life.
I think we're friends for life.
Yeah, of course.
So we can talk about serious conversations, but like...
Well, you guys have never had an office job. I'm gonna bring this up.
I've worked in retail.
I'm currently in an office job.
Shut the fuck up, Joey.
No,
Joey, no.
Bro.
You get to
No,
set
you're
the
not,
rules,
bro.
Joey. You get to set the rules, man.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean like, oh, by the way, everyone bow down to me. Like, I'm not gonna be
Dude,
like
wait,
that.
Actually, why not? That's
Wait,
kind of
okay,
based,
first of
actually.
all, I haven't had an office job, but I've worked in retail and I've worked as a lifeguard.
Yeah, I've worked
and-
with co-workers.
Okay.
Like, I'm not, you're making it sound like I'm a goo gaga baby. First job is YouTube and he's coasting.
Actually, I am.
Okay, I mean, there's some truth in that.
Yeah.
Because we are all Goo Gaga babies.
But surely, like, okay, well, should we
yeah, let's
Let's write it down. So co-worker frequently avoids serious conversations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Green.
Ooh, that changed things up. Green. Joey
when you thought you knew the vibe.
Yeah, what the fuck?
You look
Joey's like, this is easy. Isn't
You
it?
guys-
This is easy.
You look like you thought for sure.
You guys gaslit me into thinking like,
No, we did not gaslight you.
so we're co-workers, right?
No.
No, look. Okay, Jerry, we're
Joe.
co-workers, but we're friends. So
Yes,
that's
yeah,
one
yeah,
way
we
can
are-
talk.
we are- not-
Okay, so I need to hear from you guys. Why green?
I don't want to fucking talk about serious stuff at work.
Look. There is a time and a place. If the word coworker, I assume that this would be in the working place. And sometimes, you know, when you're in the office, you don't need to hear about all the fucking drama of like what's going on, you know, unless you like have a really good relationship. But if you do, then just go out for a pint afterwards, you know?
Like, what if you hire a graphic designer day 2 on the job? He's like, yeah, I just think like 3 weeks is too late for an abortion. like you'd be like, what the fuck? You'd be like, bro.
I wouldn't hire him.
Well, now you've hired him, right? What I'm saying is like, there's just certain things I think that like, a coworker shouldn't bring up serious topics.
See, but
unless you're like,
it's difficult, right? Because like serious conversations have so many different connotations. Obviously, there's the extremes where it's like, as you said, you know, where it's like something personal in their lives. But I was also thinking about like serious conversations, like that actually relate to work. That's what I thought would be serious conversations.
Like, what sense in that?
Like in the sense where it's like, okay, you're working with a bunch of people on a particular like project or whatever it is, right? And there are some like serious points that we need to like cover in order to like solve that issue. That's another like way to view as serious conversations.
I didn't interpret that.
Serious conversations I would deem as like,
yeah, if it was serious personal conversations, I would have also said green.
Well, I would argue that like like if you're in a workplace and it's like, hey, this bridge is about to collapse, we got to talk about it. I would still not consider that a serious conversation because that's like a work conversation.
Right.
I'd be like, if a serious conversation is, hey, we need to get this project done on the deadline, and some guy's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's not only a red flag.
That's what I thought.
That's like a firing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's why I said red.
No.
Or Joey runs a tight ship in nonsense.
Yeah.
It's like, look, what if you got a coworker? I'm sure we've all worked with someone or had someone who you've worked with at one point who you're like, this guy's absolutely fire at his work. He is amazing. I hope I never hear about his political opinions. Because you're like, the moment I hear about what he thinks about certain things, I'm going to think,
No, I mean it's not just that. Sometimes it's just like in the structure I was in. Sometimes I'm just like in an office job. I don't need, you're in a meeting or something, and then there's like that 5-minute preamble that comes beforehand.
I don't want to talk about this thing serious.
Sometimes I'm just like, bro, I don't need to hear about you going through a divorce, man. We're here to get this project done. You know, I'm sorry for you, but I'm not that guy. You know, that is the British in me. I'm like, sometimes I'd literally be in meetings and you know, there'd be like that 5 minute beforehand, and some conversations would get way too personal. On like some serious topics, and I'm just sitting there, just like sipping my tea, being like, wow, I don't really know what to say, because our job is just to go in the is to get this project done. And now we're talking about your divorce.
I mean, thankfully,
what a drama queen.
I mean, thankfully, at least like in my personal experience, I've never had to like run into anything like that. So I guess that's saying something, or it's just purely the fact that I guess I haven't had a proper fucking workplace.
But
obviously, there is a distinction because you can be friends with your coworkers.
Yes,
obviously, but using the term coworker, you're not going to be friends with every one of your coworkers. And you know, some people, in my experience, do overshare a lot when we're just trying to get a job done.
Maybe because I feel like if I had a coworker, but maybe I'm very good friends with them, or I become friends with them, then it's different. I wouldn't view them as much of a coworker.
Yeah, exactly right.
So I guess it depends. But overall, I would say, good. Don't talk about serious topics.
You guys bring up a good point.
That's the British in us. It's like we're here to get the job done.
We're here to do a job and a job.
If you have something serious, just send a passive aggressive email firsthand. That's step number one.
Like a can we talk text at least. You know? At least.
All right, what's next up? Let's see what's next up.
All right. A neighbor frequently offers to help with chores or tasks, even when you don't ask for it.
So basically, basically an overly friendly neighbor. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I've got it.
Oh.
Who asks their neighbor to help with tasks? I guess if you need to like get a package or something.
Yeah, or, you know, maybe if they see, like, you're doing something, like, you know, you're trying to bring in, like, big luggage into your house or something, and they see you, and they're like, oh, let me help out.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right, ready?
Wait.
You got... What are you writing there?
What the hell is he writing down?
Okay, ready?
All right.
3, 2, 1. What did you write?
Red, but it's a me thing, because I know it's a green flag, but like
it is a green flag.
It is a green flag, but
it's
like
a beige for me.
But like
what?
You know, this is like the fucking social introvert in me. I'm like if I need to get along and talk with my neighbor, it will make my life more interesting. But
yeah. I have that a little bit as well, but the reason why I said beige is because, like, especially if, like, this neighbor, right? Say, for example, you just moved to your new place. And right from the get-go, this neighbor is, like, constantly, like, you know, being like, yo, let me help you out with blah, blah, blah. Let me help you out with blah, blah, blah. I don't know what intention they have. You know?
What? This isn't some fucking Death Note kind of shit.
I don't know. I'm like, look, I know people can be really nice, but not everyone is nice without some kind of repayment. You know what I mean?
He offered to take my trash out. He must want my peaches.
Yeah, It's, you know, so it's like, okay, like, I don't, like, if it's fine if this neighbor, right, hypothetically, is down to help me out with whatever, and then maybe expects nothing in return, or maybe not as much.
Joey's like, ain't no way neighbor does nice thing and expects nothing in return.
And I'm like, because like I've had neighbors where it's like they almost like gaslit.
Usually like fake taxi you. He's like, well, you can't pay for it. Shit.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I've had some neighbors where like, you know, they've been helpful with that kind of stuff, but then, you know, the whole Japanese thing of like, you know, the give and take type situation. It's like they always expect, you know, even if they don't say it outright, you know, in the back of your head, you're like, I feel like they're expecting something in return, and that puts pressure on me, right? So I think in that case, I would rather them just not helping, and for me to be like, thanks, but no thanks. You know, I'm good, but I appreciate the sentiment type of thing, and that's why I said beige.
See, this is the reason I put red, and I said it's a me thing, because honestly, this neighbor sounds very, very friendly and very, very nice, and would be a very pleasant neighbor. But the way I view neighbors is the same way I view Uber drivers. Okay. We acknowledge each other, but I don't talk to you. You don't talk to me. We go about our own business. And everyone's happy, and everyone's pleasant, and there's no expectations from each other. That is my perfect neighbor.
Am I the only normal one who thinks like, hey, that's cool? Sure, help me out.
No, it is cool, but I'm gonna second guess
I guess
myself.
just I wouldn't feel indebted to someone if they helped me out.
No.
once.
I would.
But I mean, like I think it's in
So
my,
it's a you thing as well.
It is
Joey.
a me
It is a you
because
thing
in my
as well.
head, like if I saw my neighbor struggling with something, I would just offer to help, and I wouldn't expect anything because I assumed that they would do the same.
Right.
Like if I was struggling, they just happened to saw, they would help to help.
Yeah.
But my neighbor currently sucks at the moment. So I don't think I'd help him because he's lame.
Yeah, I've never met my neighbor.
I met my neighbor. He like doesn't say hi to me, even though I say hi to him.
Yeah.
He was cooking fucking barbecue on his balcony, which I was fine with. Like if he wants to cook a barbecue, but like, look, we share vents. Like the vents are all connected on our floor.
Right.
So my house started stinking of like I thought it was on fire.
Yeah.
And I was worried about him. I was like, dude, are you okay?
Right.
Yeah.
And he was like, fuck off, I'm barbecuing. I'm like, dude,
Okay, so
what the
then,
fuck?
right, with a neighbor like that, if
Like
one
maybe he thought I was
day-
being nosy, but I thought my house was burning down.
Okay, well then let's think hypothetically. If that neighbor that you have, right,
Yeah.
that you don't have the best,
He's
relationship
kind of a
with,
dick.
yeah, if he then suddenly turned around and offered you to help with something, would you take it?
Offered to help me.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, because he's a dick.
Yeah.
Because he proved that he was a dick.
It would be a green flag for me if I knew, like, before this neighbor started to, like, offer to help me out with stuff, if they were already, like, in good relations with me and they actually just wanted to get to know me, then I'd be, like, less inclined to be like, oh, sorry, no thanks. But if it's, like, just straight off the bat, like, before I've even known this neighbor and they're suddenly starting to do that, then I'll be like, oh, I mean, let's get to know each other first before we do that kind of stuff. Buy me a coffee at least, bro. You know what I mean? Like... I'm not saying I don't trust humans.
I mean,
I think that's what you're saying.
Look,
Joe.
I think
I'm
it's
wary.
green, but people can make it red.
Yes.
Like I think there's neighbors that can make it a
Yes.
red.
Yeah. I mean, like for me, it's more of just like, especially when I'm at my house.
But if they were inserting themselves into my life constantly, I'd be like, dude, you got to fucking quit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it
Yeah.
sounds like, whether they frequently offers to help with chores, which very, very nice. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, this is for my neighbor expectations. I'm just like, let's just both go about our day.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a scenario. What if you're just chilling, it's like 6 p.m., you hear it on your door. You're like, what the fuck? Okay, you go outside, it's your neighbor. He's made too many muffins. He's like, hey man, I made too many muffins. You want one? Does that be like too much? Is it like, you're like, hey, what the fuck?
I've seen Higurashi, man. I don't trust that shit. There could be a needle in that bitch.
I think the thought is in the right place, but I'd be like, dude,
It's like,
I guess.
Yeah, I'd be like, thanks, but no thanks.
yeah, I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
sure.
No, I'd take it, but I'd feel guilty because I'd be like, well, I'm not gonna have this muffin. This is just empty calories. This is empty
Then
calories.
why'd you take it?
Because I want to be socially polite.
But
be
you
like,
can be socially.
thank you.
No, but you can be. See, in my situation, I would be like, thank you, but I'm good. But like, I appreciate the sentiment type thing. I think that's
You would
fine.
deny the muffin.
This is
I would
like,
deny
this
it.
is
You
would
like
say no
aliens.
to the muffin.
I would deny it. I would feel
crazy.
less bad. I would feel less bad saying
I would
no
say the
thank
muffin
you
and I'd
than
eat it
taking the
immediately.
muffin and not eating it.
See, this is like the fucking night and day difference between me and Sydney as a person. Because Sydney is always that person who is just like, here, take this thing, and I'm always that person who is like, no, I'm just let's not
I would
give
take the
everything
muffin.
away.
I'd eat the muffin.
You would?
Yeah, but I'd be like, man, that's kind of like, I hope he doesn't do this often.
Right.
I don't want
Yeah.
him knocking on my door.
Do you want to be friends with your neighbor?
I would like to be on a friendly basis with my
Yeah,
neighbor. I do
yeah.
not want to be friends with my neighbor, but I would
Yeah.
like to be. Like, I
See-
don't want them knowing my personal shit.
See, it's that like distinction that I find it like so
It's a hard.
so uncomfortable. That's
yeah.
why I'm just like, okay, I like my, especially in the old days, you'd be friendly with your neighbor, right? And especially, not growing up, but hearing the stories about Sydney growing up in a small town where everyone knew each other.
Yeah.
There was like, benefits to being friendly with your neighbor, because if you weren't, then people would start gossiping about you, and suddenly the entire fucking neighborhood would know about all your dealings.
Yeah.
And that just sounds like uncomfortable to me.
Yeah.
Stressful.
That sounds stressful. I would prefer, like I said, just a mutual agreement that, hey, we are neighbors. Let's be respectful for each other, but let's not encroach on each other's lives.
Yeah,
And
totally.
that is me. But also, I kind of feel like I'm an asshole for wanting to expect that because
I feel that's more common than you think, and I'm sure that's the reason why, like, not every single like apartment or house you move into, you immediately like becoming best friends with your neighbor is the norm.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing. I have a feeling my expectations might change or my mentality might change. Like
the older you get.
Not just the older I get, but if and when we actually become like house owners,
right?
Because I think there's a mental difference to be like, oh, I am renting this apartment or I am renting this space.
So I'm here temporarily.
I'm here temporarily versus, you know, I'm setting my roots here, my family are here.
Oh, totally.
So then you have like a vested interest to be like getting on well with your neighbors, you know, which is why, you know.
Well, none of us have like a bought house yet, so we can't really like speak on experience of that. But,
exactly. But I always thought about what was the difference between like the old mentality versus this current generation mentality. Where the old mentality was very much, be friendly with your neighbor. And I remember hearing, you know, I see my family, my parents being friendly with their neighbors, and I'm like, that looks exhausting.
My like classic example is like at my grandma's house, like out in the Inaka.
Yeah.
Like she would, because it's a tiny town, everyone in the neighborhood would just leave their doors unlocked. And randomly, I would just be like at my grandma's house, like I'd be like, you know, doing something with my sister, you know, playing a game or something. And then just like a random woman would just walk in and be like, oh, I'm from like down the road. I'm just here to borrow your grandma's soy sauce. And then she just grabs it and just leaves. And I was just like, I would not be able to do that.
Yeah, that's a.
Could you just imagine just randomly your neighbor walking
get your own soy sauce. Go buy it right now.
It's like you could just imagine your neighbor randomly walking in, just being like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna grab a couple of things from your kitchen."
Bro, that actually happened in Sydney's like little hometown.
Yeah, right.
I was just chilling, and everyone was out the house, either working or like on some trip, and I was in the office just working. I just hear the door open. I go out, and it's just someone I've never met before in my life. And it was just their neighbor. Yeah. And I just had this awkward moment to be like, am I being robbed or are we being robbed or do you know Sydney's family? And then they asked, oh, is X and X here? And I was like, who are you? So that is a total vibe that I am not used to and maybe I would be more used to in that environment. But also, I kind of get what you mean with your previous statement as well, because I just realized the one neighbor that did end up, like when we moved in, was very, very nice and offered to help with chores and gave me some free like beer and stuff. That was my neighbor from hell, because that was the neighbor from the neighbor story I talked about in a very old episode.
See,
and
gaslighting you,
and
they feel entitled because they've been nice to you.
Yeah. It's like I've been nice to you this whole time. Why are you suddenly turning around and being mean to me? It's like I don't want to be in that
Holy
situation.
shit! I just realized I just went through Joey's fear there.
Yeah. See?
No, I think the fear is. It's like a faith in humanity kind of situation. It's like you need to believe that everyone has good intentions.
Yeah.
For the sake
let me gain your trust first, and you gain my trust, and then from there, you know, as a good deed, we can start helping each other out. But right from the get go, it's us.
All right. Yeah. What's next? Red flag, green flag.